So my name is Mariam Say. I'm one of NUJ reps, and I'm one of the delegates who have been honored to deliver a letter to Prime Minister Keir Starmer a while ago. The letter is asking not only to protect the people in Gaza, but only asking to have a look on the international law and the breaches of international law and international community as well, not only because Keir Starmer is our Prime Minister and he can act for us, but also because we had witnessed decades when Keir Starmer was in Iraq war, trying to support activists and trying to applaud human rights. So it's time to hear from him again and ask him to act to do something for the international law and the International Court of Justice. So we can see the escalation of the response of the targeting the journalists in Gaza. So at the beginning they were raising concerns and condemning, and finally the tone, Mr. David Lammy said that he's scared about what's going on. So they are hearing us a bit slow and late, but to come late, better than not to come at all. I think recognizing Palestine is a very good point to start off, because at this point we can ask for equality. If you, in our union, if you know that when Russia is targeting Ukraine, so they send a message to the Ukrainian journalists telling them that we are going to target you. We have never heard about such a thing in Gaza. So we had hopes that when our government recognizes Palestine, this will reflect what's going on. Maybe we can see equality between the Palestinian and Ukrainian journalists. I'd like to add that our freelance journalists on field in Gaza are courageous, outstanding, honorable people on the field. They are doing a duty that no one on earth can do. I feel so bad about what happened in Nasser Hospital, specifically when a freelance journalist passed and then the outlets were like trying to throw the ball. No, she wasn't assigned to us, and trying to technically like get rid of the responsibility that they have a duty of care to their freelance journalists. I still don't know what we are going to do, but I can tell that we are going to discuss it and see what we can do as a union for it. But for now, we can tell that freelance journalists in Gaza who are pitching stories for British organizations are so welcome to join our union. This is official. They can join us, and we will be able to defend their rights more than now.
Today, we will say their names and honour the courage of all the journalists murdered in this genocide. To murder a journalist covering a conflict is a war crime. We are living in an obscene and disgusting time when it has become the norm to bomb hospitals, to slaughter and starve civilians, to torture and imprison doctors because they save lives and bring hope to the people of Gaza.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بادئ في بدء أتوجه بالتحية والتقدير لكل واحد وواحدة منكم، كل باسمه ولقبه ومكانته ووظيفته أيضا.
So this is a translation for the transcript of speech of Wael al-Dahdoh. He started with, "May the peace, blessing and mercy of God be upon you. First of all, I want to extend my greetings and appreciation to each one of you individually, by name, by title, by position and role. Also, secondly, on this day, on this occasion, after all that has happened to your fellow journalists in Gaza and to civilians, including displacement, famine, genocide, destruction and siege, it is mandatory to address you with this appeal and say, appeal, appeal, appeal. We address your conscience. We address your morals, we address your humanity, and the codes of honor and codes of conduct to which of you have been committed to. Do everything you can do. Do everything for your colleagues in Gaza, for humanity in Gaza, for famine, for the genocide.
Be in no doubt, the death of Palestinian journalists is not just the story of individuals. It is the death of journalism. If Israel is not held to account for breaching the protections afforded to journalists in Gaza under international law, the international community is giving the green light to every country around the world that we can be killed with impunity simply for doing our jobs.
Finally, I would like to read you the will of Maryam Abu Dakka, the journalist that Israel killed a few days ago. And before she died, she wrote her will to her child, Ghaith, and she said, Ghaith, heart of soul of your mother, I want you to pray for me and not to cry over me so that I can remain happy. I want you to always make me proud, to work hard, excel, and be capable. I want you to become successful, my beloved. My dear, I hope that you will never forget me. Everything I have done was only to make you happy, to keep you joyful and comfortable, and to provide everything for you. And when you grow up, get married, and have a daughter, name her Maryam after me. You are my love, my heart, my support, my soul, and my son, who I am proud of. I will always be happy hearing of your good reputation. I ask of you one thing, Ghaith, you're a prayer, and you're a prayer, my dear, your mother, Maryam. That was the will of Maryam Abu Dakka. Thank you.
Ayman Habib al-Galawi, murdered in Palestine with British complicity.
My name's Iona Craig. I'm a freelance journalist and I've been working mostly on Yemen for the past 15 years now. I've come down to today's vigil from I live about 2 hours north of London because I felt it was the least I could do. I feel that statements are empty at this point. Posting things to social media are definitely not enough. To be quite honest with you, I'm pretty disappointed at the numbers that are here today. There's very few journalists here. The situation is incredibly depressing. I think back to 2018 when Jamal Khashoggi was killed by Saudi Arabia inside the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, and the aftermath of that, and individuals within the Saudi regime were sanctioned, and quite rightly. And Saudi Arabia was, even if briefly, made a pariah internationally. And yet Israel has murdered more than 240 media workers and journalists in Gaza and in the West Bank and in Lebanon, but mainly in Gaza, for the last 2 years, and our governments have done nothing. And I think our industry is also complicit. The way the conflict has been framed, the way the reporting of the journalist deaths has happened, it has come to the point now where I think we should not be platforming Israeli government officials or the IDF. I also think we should not be platforming our own government in any shape or form about politics in general until measures are taken against Israel, and that should include sanctions. A double-tap strike like that is by design meant to kill those coming to rescue those killed in the first strike, so to first responders. And they successfully did that. That location was also known to be a place where journalists would gather to get the best internet and to get Wi-Fi to send their work to international media. And Israel would have known that. This kind of wording is given that they're either spying on the IDF by having a camera on the roof, and even Reuters itself framing Israel's response in its headlines as if it is ambiguous that the people that were killed were indeed journalists. These are our colleagues, and most of the media are not treating them as such. What can our government do? I think our government should be stopping all arms sales to Israel, and we should be sanctioning Israel. Because otherwise more media workers are going to die, more journalists are going to be killed and assassinated and murdered, until there are none left in Gaza. And it also then puts at risk every journalist going forward working in a conflict zone. That it's now been normalised for journalists to be killed, not just once or twice, but in their hundreds. And that is now normal. And we as an industry have facilitated that. And I think David Lammy posting on social media that this is horrific is woefully inadequate. There needs to be actual action taken against Israel, just as there was previously taken against Saudi Arabia when one journalist died. Writing to your MPs, or if you're elsewhere, writing to your lawmakers in whatever country you're in, pressing the unions that you're involved with. I think even the calls that we're hearing now for a general strike, because I think just being outspoken on social media is not enough. It clearly isn't enough because nothing is stopping. I find that absolutely horrific to be watching my colleagues dying the way they are and suffering the way they are without any support from the outside. And it's a deeply depressing state of journalism in general, and I've seen that here this evening really in the pathetically low turnout, I think, for what is the most important moment in journalism since I got into the trade. My first paid job in journalism was in 2008, and this is the most significant moment since I became a journalist, and people are not standing up.